And away we go. We know that Frederik is playing blue-white monument, and Quinten is on. Actually, not sure what Quinten is on exactly. Let's have a quick look. Quinten is on blue-black control apparently, so that might be interesting here. What the idiot. Get out of here. Okay, so we have a Gustwalker as the first creature in the match. And apparently something's already the problem here, because I don't see the match continuing. Ah no, it was just a shuffle still for the Evolving Wilds apparently. And that Gustwalker goes back to its homeland. Alright, now life makes sense again. Good, good. Thank you very much, players. So, Frederik very much will be trying to put pressure on Quinten, as Quinten looks to stabilize the board and then take over through card advantage in the late game. Frederik playing blue-white monument. It's a very well-known deck in our format. Well, any white-based what's its name? Oketra's monument. I hate the god names, they're so confusing to me. Frederik coming in for the first damage. No turn 3 play for Frederik on a tapped out opponent whatsoever. That's very disappointing. That makes me pretty curious about what he kept there. He might have been tricked into keeping with the opt that he played on turn 1. That would be unfortunate. And we have a new follower, Sarke. Welcome to the Viking Longboat. And a renegade map for Quinten. Getting ready to smooth out his mana, and I assume also playing a possible, well, there we go, a this is Sparta! A fatal push. At this point the game going completely as Quinten could have, should have, would have wished for here. Oh, and there's the Conquistadors. I hope it was a top deck for Frederik. We also missed, thank you for the compliment on the soundboard. I try to get most of my enthusiasm for it out so that I don't overuse it anymore, but it's really hard to sum up my feelings. Also, Dant Kratos, welcome to the Viking Longboat, and thanks for following. Okay, so Frederik loaded up on Grey Ogres essentially. That's a 3 mana 2/2 in case you don't know. To supply a steady stream of threats to Quinten, who seems to be a bit tight on mana with his blue-black control deck. So Quinten sacking his renegade map, getting that second black source online. He hasn't been milling with his search for Ascanta, so I'm guessing he has a very strong hand ready to jump into the game. And fortunately, Frederik isn't really mounting any sizable offense, so he's giving Quinten the time that you really can't give a deck like this. Gifted Etherborn, the Prime Stop Sign for black-based control decks. Oh, and we have Cloudblazer. That could actually be one of the reasons that I see for Frederik keeping this particular hand, as he's hoping to overwhelm his opponent in card advantage. The Conquistador was a top deck, we know that, as he didn't play it when he had 3 mana available. But now we are on what is hopefully a Cloudblazer train. Quinten, there we go, we have the 4th land. And Quinten, oh, gets on the board with a Hostage Taker. Now, with a very juicy target under it. And it looks like we are settling in for a rather long game here. Going back to the starting life totals. Oh, we have 19 viewers already. Welcome everybody. It's pretty cool. For those of you that don't know, we are playing the Gentry Invitational. This is an 8-man invitational tournament in the Gentry format. Makes my nose itchy. We are limited to 4 unique rares and or mythics and 15 uncommons. So this is a budget version of standard that we play locally here. That's way more fun than a regular standard, obviously. Okay, cast out, taking out the Hostage Taker before it could cast the Cloudblazer. Pretty prime timing on that one. Giving back the Cloudblazer and another trigger for Frederik. So very swingy here. Quinten again hoping for a miracle that Hostage Taker could have been it, but now he's again looking to the top of his deck for answers. Come on, Quinten. You can do it, man. I believe in you. Okay. Frederik, even though he kept a bit of a slow hand at in this game, thus seems to have all the required answers to play this long, grueling card advantage grindfest of a game against a control deck. This is the strength of the blue-white monument deck, for sure. Then it can actually play these kinds of games. Cloudblazer coming in. Well, we just have Cloudblazers and Gifted Etherborns trading insignificant damage and life total changes. We have an Aven Wind Guide. Aven Wind Guide is sort of the reason for playing blue-white in the Oketra's Monument deck, because giving all those little soldiers flying and vigilance is a pretty big deal, but Essence Scatter takes care of that problem before it ever even manifested. Nope. Just nopes that thing off the table. And we keep going. Reveals a super... Oh, looks at a supernatural stamina and bins it. So when exactly does the search for Ascanta flip there? Okay, welcome Marshmallow. All the love back all the way to Bochum. Don't you guys have this huge card tournament in your city right now? That was the Brainstorm Merfolk. Not sure what happened there. I think it got cancelled. But a first game cancel out of blue-white seems pretty unlikely. Okay, we have the namesake card hitting the table. Oketra's Monument. So this is the card the entire deck is built around. Was Essence Scatter after all. And the first of the tokens is coming in. So a chain of Cloud Blazers that bring token buddies has now started. As it looks like Frederik will start taking over this game from here on. Not that he hasn't been firmly in the driver's seat up to now, but he still has to get a finishing touch in there. Exterminate! Oh, that's a bit louder than I meant it to be. And oh, that's a what's the name of the card? What's the name of the card? It's the thing that bounces all the things. River's Rebuke. Yeah, the problem with doing this against the Oketra's Monument deck is that they have a very easy time rebuilding their board, and in rebuilding their board they're actually push the green button. I'm not pushing the green button. Unless you mean this one. This is my favorite green button. So they have a really easy time rebuilding their board, and in rebuilding they're actually getting more out of it than the first time they built it, as we can clearly see demonstrated with this monstrous sequence of plays here for Frederik, establishing an instant board right after getting everything wiped. So a card that should be a finisher or a neutralizer at least against most decks here just gives Frederik the chance to replan everything the way he wants to. And at this point all Quinten is thinking about is, how could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. Okay. But yeah, things happen like that, and it's must be a hard feeling to have one of your rares, which is a pretty big deal in the format, work so poorly. I mean, there are some other options that could have been pretty interesting here. Duress takes away a cast out or a trial. There are quite some. Ooh, we have double Aviary Mechanic in the hand, so this is a soft combo that gives him a token for every white mana that he has available, constantly bouncing each other. So the Trail of Solidarity was taken away. Yeah, Golden Demise would be better. Oh, and here we have the Black Titan. Oh no, I searched Titan. I'm gonna have 100 cards. No, Titan. Which Titan are you? Wait, are they called Titans? Gearsmiths. Gear Hulk. Jesus, Noxious Gear Hulk. See, I know Magic cards, I swear. Noxious Gear Hulk takes out... What? Geared Hulk. It's not a Noxious Geared Hulk. Noxious Gear Hulk. There we go. That's, yeah. Okay, and then you get the one nobody recognizes, so let's switch to the real one. There we go. Noxious Gear Hulk for everybody. And honestly, Frederik barely cares. He has a board completely ready to deal with all of this. And the glare on the cards is getting increasingly worse. So we'll see if we can do something about that a bit later as well. As long as he leans forward, should be okay. Okay. That's a Sacred Scaracol. Something. Sacred. Scrolling through Gatherer. I have no idea what this card is. Let's look at the deck lists. It is regal, some scaracol thingy cat. Why is this so hard? Regal caracol. Apparently a caracol is a cat. Okay. So I lost track of all the permanents on the table right now. I hope the players still know what's going on, because I've got no clue, guys. It's full of tokens. Some of them are face down. Some of them are half out of their sleeves. It's horrible.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's about this match ends. Well, this game. We're still in game 1. No, in all seriousness though, this is a pretty interesting game going on, because as much as Frederik has, he still has a problem punching through. Now, the Noxious Gearhulk coming in here, if I'm not mistaken, it does have Menace. Can someone reboot? I'm not unrebootable. Yeah, Sweet Brown, our hero. So the menacing threat is coming in here. We have an opt, I think, in response, unless I missed the actual resolution of the damage. Well, this looks like Frederik is sizing up a possible block, but we kind of know that Quinten is playing supernatural stamina, and that could be a big problem here. Because not only would you lose a bunch of creatures, but then he gets a trigger again, and that's pretty bad. Okay. Okay, so apparently we are already half turn beyond the point that I was discussing, rendering all my beautiful insights completely moot as we get a Angel of Invention on the side of Frederik. What Angel? Oh. Angel of Invention on the side of Frederik. There we go. Kind of gets awkward that he has the read on the supernatural stamina, but it completely changes how you would want to attack, because you sort of don't want to attack with anything that can kill the Chupacabra, for example, because that would so okay, I'm going to check upstairs. I'll be right back. So apparently Frederik forgot to put in the servo tokens, and yeah, the sign is pretty interesting, but because we are playing this at regular rel, he is still getting the tokens. If this were competitive, he wouldn't have gotten them anymore. And we continue. So everybody who says he wouldn't get them anymore, again, in competitive you would be correct, but that is not how we are playing it here. This is still first and foremost a fun tournament for everybody involved. So he is attacking with some of the... Oh, so not sure how big... Oh, those are the cats. Yeah, he's attacking with the cats, and the caracal makes those bigger, right? Yes, so those are 3/3 lifelink cat tokens. "28 viewers already. It's pretty nice. I only see 29. Yeah, cool. All right. So looks like we might be breaking the record. The Open will be competitive. Yes, the Gentry Open is the only competitive that the league runs. So don't worry about that. You can get all spiky all the time. So back to the game. We had supernatural stamina to blink the hostage taker that got eaten by cats, and in the meantime Frederik is just spewing out tons of permanence as he's doing. The Gentry Open will be streamed as well, correct? Okay, those are the two servos from this is getting so hard. 2 servos from the Angel of Invention and 1 Vigilant Soldier from... I don't know what from. The Gentry Open will be in Outpost Kent. That I can't fit that kind of people in my place now. But this is being streamed in my home. You see, behind me is my magic cabinet stuff. Oh yeah, Monument makes vigilance tokens, of course. Okay, back to the game. We have hostage taker had taken the angel, and the angel is now coming into play on Quinten's side. And Frederik is reminding him to resolve the trigger. So we have a bunch of sporting fellas here playing the game as it's supposed to look like. Yeah, no side events. That's actually the main reason why I might do it in Outpost again, but if I do, I'm probably moving my equipment to the Outpost, but that's still far away, so we'll see what happens in the future. So another attack with the Gear Hulk. Again, Frederik opting not to block because I think he has an Alpha Strike for the win lined up here. So what will Frederik do? Apparently still has a bunch of stuff up his sleeve. We have 6 mana to bring an Aven Wind Guide back, giving all the tokens. Giving all the... So some helpful Olivier trying to fix the tokens, but we actually have the cat tokens. And an Aven Wind Guide coming back from the grave. At least I think it's an Aven Wind Guide. And Frederik just piling them all up. And goes, army!
Finish him!
Quinten wants to do some counting first, but the Wind Guide gives all of them flying. So unless he gets rid of that, I don't think... yeah, Quinten didn't realize yet, but yeah. All these boogers have flying, Quinten. What you gonna do about it? And that's as scoop-de-doop. Alright, and that wraps up game 1 in favor of Frederik, and a pretty slow starting yet epic match. Here we have our brave contestants with the annoying sign in the way. So if you're playing the next round and you're watching, don't do that, guys.
Ga beneden zijn, maar als het een school is, zou ik wel even naar boven gaan.
Merci.
Babbelen een beetje vol.
Ja, dat is beter. Okay, so we have a running judge in case we have any more issues here, as both of these players will be going to their sideboards, and I have the benefit of having a sideboard. For Frederik, we have one Dawn Feather Eagle in the sideboard. Compulsory rest, not sure that will come in. The negates seem pretty sure to come in. Forsake the Worldly takes care of the Gear Hulk, but that doesn't seem all too interesting. Otherwise, he has one Essence Scatter, one Sandblast, and two Fragmentize. I guess the Essence Scatter will probably come in. And then for Quinten, we have 3 Ether Poisoners, 3 Dive Down, 1 Duress, 1 Final Reward, 2 Negate, 1 Scarab Feast, 2 Spell Pierce, 1 Trespasser's Curse, 1 Universal Solvent. So I expect the control package to come in almost completely, with either Poisoner, Duress, Negates, and probably Spell Pierces showing up to influence this match. I'm not sure who, I don't know, even know, Low Life. Ha! I can read who Low Life is, but apparently he's very familiar with our community. So for those of you who have just tuned in, we are currently in the second match of the Gentry Invitational. We already saw Ian beat Dries in the first match, and now we are on Frederik versus Quinten, where Frederik is up 1-0. These players are currently sideboarding, resleeving, shuffling, and that's horribly boring, so I'll just annoy you guys with some of my buttons. Which button would we... what's the funny button? I removed all the funny buttons. I still have this one though.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's not so funny. That's pretty impressive though. This one's funny.
I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
And there we have that. Okay, let's go back to the table as these players are wrapping up their sideboarding, and we can get back into the match. Game 2, match 2, Invitational. Are you ready for this? I'll annoy you guys with some of me buttons. There you go. Annoyed the poop out of you. But apparently we have some fans as well. Oh, I can clip anything. Yeah, dry throat. But I have my trusty bucket of water ready for the match. But enough silliness. We are ready for game 2 of match 2 of this game. Everybody, if you're ready, if you're hyped, say okay.
Okay.
There we go. Everybody ready. Okay, we are on our way. Let's see if Quinten can muster a stronger defense, or if Frederik will actually take home this in just 2 games. He showed he can do it with a slow, methodical build-up kind of game, but I know this deck is capable of some pretty explosive draws as well. No beer for the caster. Not if I'm casting 7 matches in a row. That's a bit much even for me. Frederik sideboarding.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think that he made that many mistakes, but if he feels that way, then that's okay, and we respect that, because it's important to respect people's feelings. Feelings are important, people. Feel your feelings. Okay, 6 cards. Let's see what we got. That seems a lot better. Frederik scrying. Frederik scrying and ready to get going. Quinten all too eager to throw out that duress and see if he has something to take. Essence Scatter is the only card in that hand that is worth to take away. And we continue meandering river to fix the mana. Ooh, and Gifted Etherborn. I think somebody forgot to tell Quinten that he's supposed to be the control deck. Gustwalker on the other side. That's not really a match for a Gifted Etherborn. And a Renegade map for Quinten. Again, seems to be stuck on his mana here. No. Okay. So he does have a third land on turn 3 and a second Renegade map. So he'll have all the mana available that he could wish for. Okay, Oketra's Monument. It's a pretty good draw. For Frederik here. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit distracted here. Yeah, touch his nose. I'm really annoyed by the itchy nose right now. Okay, Gifted Etherborn coming in and keeps plus, yeah, 22. Good job, Quinten. Okay, let's see Quinten. What does he have up his sleeve? At least he can play on curve with the Renegade maps. He should have quite a lot to do still. Let's have a look at Quinten's deck list. He also has Riverwise Augurs and Ravenous Chupacabra, so he has a pretty scary 4-drop slot there. Yeah, that's a Ravenous Chupacabra. Keeping the board clean. Oh, but that starts a train. The Conquistador with a monument. So this deck already existed before the rotation, but then it had Traben Inspectors, this really obscure card that nobody ever played, which was actually pretty good in this deck. But then it got Legion Conquistador instead, which supplied the same feel type card of engine. And yeah, we have a Fatal Push as the Revolt card. Not that he really needs it though. And an Aviary Mechanic. This is the strong side of this deck, that from an empty board it can create a pocket army with cards that are technically worth only half a card. It's pretty strong in that regard. And that means that Quinten will have to keep being able to get rid of an entire army of cards. It's I think Golden Demise is pretty much the only card that gets rid of a army like this in one fell swoop. And let's have a peek over there. Yeah, it doesn't seem... Yeah, he doesn't play any golden demises, so he'll probably feel that quite firmly in this matchup. And these people didn't know how the bracket was before they handed in their deck lists, because if they did, I'm pretty sure that whoever played against Frederik would have made sure they have golden demises ready for them. We have Hostage Taker though. Quite capable of swinging matches in a big way. Also taking away the aviary mechanic, so in case he has a second one, Frederik can't go infinite. Cloud Blazer, just as good though. Arrow Volley isn't so good because it only does 1 damage, so yes, it kills the tokens, but it leaves you with all the other problematic cards. You really want to get rid of the aviary mechanics and the Cloud Blazers and stuff like that. That's in play as well. Okay. So, Quinten playing the aviary mechanic, takes back the Hostage Taker, reblaze it to get rid of the Cloud Blazer, and hopes he gets to cast this next turn. That would be pretty awesome. Incendiary Sabotage is, I think, one of the best cards that is not being played right now, and I can totally see it in a Grixis style good card control deck that is a lot like Esper in what it does, but just plays Incendiary Sabotage and Unlicensed Disintegration as top end removal cards, in addition to just a bunch of good creatures, because that color combination can also pull something very scary off. Another aviary mechanic, so if he had still had the original one, he could have just gone on and on with them. Gets the Conquistador just to create another token, and Frederik has started the grind. Yeah, here we go. Apparently players are really focused on making sure stuff goes off camera. Yeah, Grixis Improvise is where I think there's a deck hiding that could be really scary. You also have the Demon, if you have the right support for the Improvise. But I don't know. It kind of feels like it's missing a part somewhere. Like if we, yeah, I mean, it has Prophetic Prism as a sackstone that draws a card. Okay, but we're still in this match, and the last couple of Conquistadors enter the fray. Bring along a buddy. And Frederik still refusing to attack, just waiting for an Aven Wind Guide or something to buff the team before he gets into the attack. Because right now he would just lose a fourth of his army, but of course Quinten is on 22. So even with Quinten getting a pretty strong start, Frederik's overrun potential in the mid game is manifesting quite clearly here. Augur off screen. That's the Brainstorm. Merfolk. There we go. Riverwise Augur. I'm still waiting for Quinten to put back 2 cards. Viewing record consecutive players is, if I'm not mistaken, at 38 or 34. So we're sitting at just under 30 at this point, which is pretty cool already. But we can do so much better. Yeah, the delay should be 10 seconds, so it's pretty possible that your measured delay is at 11. Okay, duress. Pretty useless. I think that nabbed a negate. So if this was just let's see duress. And that's something we see a lot of players do, is just randomly fire off duresses. When you have a duress in the late game, it's much better to treat it as a sort of counter spell, where if you're waiting to get an important, if you really need to get an important spell through, you just use it to check out if the coast is clear before actually throwing out the spell. Here the rest didn't really do that much. So early game you just want to throw them off their curve or take out a key card. Late game you just want to make sure the key card isn't there. See here again. Okay, yes, he hits a card, but we have now he has a card again. So if he draws a important spell, then he still can't push it through. Yeah, the thing is, that's also the chat has a comment that Augur could be replaced to make room for demises. That's a good point, but that also makes his renegade maps and his fetch lands and his evolving wilds that much better. So there was a question before why he plays the renegade gear, the renegade maps. That's one of the reasons as well. In the meantime, there's tons of stuff happening. A Essence Scatter got baited, so an Angel of Invention could be pushed through. Yeah, I think I agree with chat that going black control, you shouldn't leave home with at least 2 golden demises, even though that there's a lot of matchups out there where it's so awkward, like black-green counters barely kills anything, against dinosaurs it barely kills anything. Well, the red-white dinosaurs you do, but the other one you don't. But yeah, the Merfolk tribals, any monument deck, they're all prime targets to get your golden demise against. So for all the hugeness in Frederik's army, he hasn't been able to mount an actual offense. I'm guessing he's really digging for some evasion. Again, the Aven Wind Guides might blow this open, as proven with his attack here. He's comfortable enough to attack with the Angel of Invention, but he also doesn't want to attack into a possible supernatural stamina that could break this board wide open, which would be really bad. Okay. But at some point he must reach a point in the game where he's just capable of alpha striking twice. And that might be what he's thinking about now. The lifelink makes that hard to calculate, of course, and with having that hostage taker on the table being such a threat for any blink or bounce effect. So what's happening? This is game 2 of round 2 of the Gentry Invitational. Gentry is a budget version of standard that limits you to 15 uncommons and 4 unique rares and or mythics, and you are watching some of our top players playing this format at the point. On the right we have blue-white Kitros Monument deck, and on the left we have a blue-black control deck. The Monument deck is currently building up an army in order to either swarm around the entire defense that is on the left, or to buff it with an Aven Wind Guide, which would give it flying. But I think Frederik has an idea of where he wants to be and that he can swarm around. First quarterfinal was between Dries and Ian took that one in a very deciding manner with his blue-black control deck. So Frederik now attacking with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures, I think, with 6 blockers on the other side. That's 8 coming through for 16, killing off a bunch of stuff on the other side if there's no supernatural staminas coming to wreck his day. Oh, 7 creatures, yes, the ogre was off screen. So this is gonna be a bit of a cleanup. So I have some life going up, some life going down. I see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 damage, 15 damage in total. It was on 24. Yes, Dries got eliminated. Well, somebody needs to lose the first match. That's just how the cookie crumbles, you know. So, board got a little bit more cleaned up here. Yeah, that's true. The first match was a bit of a blowout. In that the match, it was a bit matchup dependent, but that happens. Such is magic as well. So Frederik now still has army enough to alpha strike for the win. He's counting it up. 3, those 3 get blocked. Those 4 get through. That's left, so that would mean he has to block that, otherwise it dies. Yeah, Frederik going in. Some stuff has vigilance, others needs to tap.
Finish him!
Oh no, there's
Finish him!
This is Sparta!
There's a fatal push to draw this out. One more turn to draw Quinten into the golden demise he does not have apparently. puts Quinten at 3, yeah. But Frederik is drawing blanks now. This is sort of a chance for Quinten to get back into this game. Gets a renegade map though, and we see an essence scatter hiding in his hand. Not sure what the second card is. What all Frederik needs to do is poke twice with that angel. Oh, and a Gust Walker too. But that gets negated, so Quinten has to attack here with his lifelinker or he dies in the upcoming turn. And that lifelinker will eat 2 tokens, so... think he drew Search for Ascanta. Oh, he doesn't see the attack, and that means that we switch over to our no, we don't switch over to our trusty bracket. I'm going to do this the professional way. We take a look at the players and we have a little chat, and in the meantime, in the background, I will be adjusting the bracket. That's so professional. It's makes me feel good, you know. Okay, so I think Quinten had 1 extra turn to draw himself something, but I'm not sure what he could have drawn at that point, so it probably didn't matter that much, but he still had the possibility to get something out of it. Apparently the players are discussing among themselves as well, so we might have missed some other interactions there. Doesn't matter at this point though, so we'll be waiting for Frederik, for Quinten to come to us, and we'll have a little chat about his deck. I hope you were all very interested in this game. It was pretty cool to see how Frederik's deck has 2 modes where he can play in a very aggressive, explosive mode, and a very grindy mode that has a lot of long-term potential.